integrate meditation into your everyday life. So that's the topic that we'll be enjoying this evening. For you people that don't know Rinpoche, I guess I'm the one chosen to say a few words, which is not easy. So Rinpoche was recognized as a reincarnate teacher. He was very young, and then he had to move to India, Sikkim, when he was around 10 years old, I think, when the Chinese came to Tibet. And there he had an education with some of the best Tibetan spiritual teachers of our age, and also became an academic and worked in Sikkim University in the Tibetology department. Had a good career there. And then some of his friends said, come to the West. And I think the story goes, he was, well, why? It's nice in Sikkim. Why come to the West? But they were very persistent. Sorted in visas and everything. So then he came in the 90s, I think. And it was raining and cold in Scotland. But it didn't put him off completely, as he's still here. And people enjoyed his teaching very much. And then, more and more, he was invited to teach in England, Scotland, now Europe, now America, all over the world now. And he's written many books, or at least people have transcribed many of his talks into books. Some of them which you can find here if you're interested. And he founded Bodhicharya International, also 97, something like this, which is a collection of groups and centers around the world that's based on 3 principles of helping, healing and harmony. So this involves kind of teaching meditation, healing the mind, things like this, charitable projects and interreligious dialogues, things like this, community projects, and stuff like this. So he also has a charity called Ripple Trust, which is to help the children and the monastery back home where Rinpoche was from, in Ripple, Tibet. That provides food, education, and medical care for the monks and the children there. So we were very happy and feeling fortunate. Rinpoche came last year, we didn't scare him off, he's come back again. So we're very happy to have him here this evening and tomorrow evening as well. So welcome, Rinpoche. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much. Is it like this? Hello?
Yes? Okay.
Thank you very much. For the introduction and for providing such a nice venue to meet this evening. When I first came to the UK, it was 1990, but it was at Christmas time. I didn't like it at all. But now I like it. But I come in summer. Summer here is really very nice. The subject tonight is meditation in everyday life. So I think most of you may be familiar with the concept of meditation a little bit. Actually, it's like this, It's about the training of our own mind. Many times we kind of feel that how I feel, whether I am happy or unhappy, is very much based on outer things. But if you look a little bit deeply, we find that it is not entirely dependent on outer things. How our life situation is, what things we have, how the things are, different situations, of course, have a strong effect. But it is not only that. There is a very, very strong kind of effect of how we are, how we experience, how we react, how we look from within ourselves. Has a very, very strong contribution towards how we are and how we feel. If it is like that, then what can we do about that? And so therefore, I think this is called spirituality, maybe, to kind of to learn how to bring well-being, you can call it, I think, well-being, joy, happiness, satisfaction, way of dealing with situations from within, emotions. And this area of life, maybe we can call it, is not very much addressed in our usual classical educational system. And so therefore, and sometimes even, I think that primarily most of the religions must have a strong kind of base on this kind of education and training and understanding. But nowadays, maybe it has become much less. So therefore, how to work on that, this I think becomes very important subject, you can call it, very important area that we human beings have to look into. And meditation is a very important area of working on this. Nowadays, as you know, meditation has become very popular in certain areas, like mindfulness, because it's been kind of found that by doing this kind of meditation, you can kind of you have certain effect on your how to bring more relaxation, how to bring more concentration, how to kind of it makes certain very clear effects on our life. As you know, they've done lots of brain mapping and things like that, and they found out that if people meditate really well, long time, then they can become much happier than normal human beings. I was a few times in this kind of mind and life conferences and institutes, and they give it a scientific name, adept meditators. And they said that adept meditator is somebody who has meditated for more than 10,000 hours. That's like 3 years continuously. It's not everybody who might be able to do that. And even if some people do it, not necessarily, that they get that result, because it's not about how much, but also how well you do the meditation. So therefore, I think the meditation, there's two things here, I think. One is to learn how to do the meditation in a kind of right way. And another is doing it. But doing it, sometimes it's not just about time. Sometimes I think it's more about discipline. Not about time, but discipline. Basically, I think what we have to understand, when you say meditation, people try to sit and think that they should not think. They should have no thoughts. They should be completely calm. That's okay. But we can't be like that calm. Most of us, I don't know about you, maybe some of you are adept meditators, but thoughts and emotions and sensations and perceptions, and these are a natural aspect of our mind. It's very difficult to shut off our mind. And even if we just shut off our mind, that's not necessarily the best meditation. So what we have to do, what I feel is the most important thing to do, is that, of course, it's good to kind of, maybe I'll tell you what I understand and what I kind of, from my experience of a little bit meditation I do. I'm very lazy. I'm very lazy. And I'm looking for, in anything I do, I try to do it the shortest way, the quickest way, and then the simplest way possible. And I even sometimes suggest people, can't you find some job which you do for little time, only little time, and get lots of payment? I like that. Doing very little and getting lots of result. So therefore, the meditation, first of course we have to find a little bit of, settlement of our mind. And there, I like these three things, what they say, three important things. First, bring your body on the seat, bring your mind into your body, bring ease into your mind. These three things. It's also not difficult to remember. Three things. So the first thing is that, when you try to meditate, what you are trying to do is that you are trying not to be too busy. You are not to be involved in everything. You are not, at this moment. If you are doing 5 different things, if you are running here, there, and everywhere, and then it's difficult to meditate. So therefore, bring your body to the seat. It's not necessary always. It's not necessary that only sitting is a meditation. They said that you can meditate by sitting, you can meditate by walking, you can meditate by lying down, you can meditate, standing. It's a little bit like, you can meditate while doing anything, actually. That's why there's a little joke. There were 2 Zen students, monks, and then the one monk found another one smoking a cigarette, and he was shocked. He said, "Oh, you are smoking cigarette?" He said, "Yes, but I'm meditating." And he says, "No, you can't meditate. how can you, smoke while you meditate? He says, no, but my teacher told me that I can. And the other one said, no, I asked myself. He said, no. How did you ask? I said, can I meditate? Can I smoke while meditating? He says, absolutely not. The one who was smoking said, no, you didn't know how to ask. I also asked, and he said, yes, I can. Then how did you ask? I asked, can I meditate while smoking? And he said, yes. So it's a little bit like that, You can meditate anytime, but while you are meditating, you better not smoke. So therefore, bringing the body to the seat is that, you kind of a little bit create atmosphere of peace, of not so much busyness around you. That's sometimes good. Usually when we want some peace of mind, some kind of relaxation, sometimes we go to the forest. Sometimes we kind of walk into the nature, seaside, things like that. Water is a very calming effect. Nature has a very calming effect. Silence has a very calming effect. Things like that. I found that sometimes when I'm giving some talks also, even giving talks, when I give a talk in the city, even if the room is very quiet, room is completely quiet and there's no kind of no noise, no disturbance, but it's much harder than if I give a talk in the countryside. In the city, it seems like what I give is kind of going to the rock and coming back, and when you are in the countryside, it seems that it's going in, so I think this a little bit, creating certain kind of right atmosphere, is also a little bit important, especially for those, like us, who are beginners. Then the second is bringing the mind into the body, and this I think is the most important thing. Because usually our mind is everywhere. It's kind of in the past, in the future, in all different places, everywhere, now here, now there, and so when you bring your mind into the body, means, you feel now, I am in my body, my mind is in my body, means I only see with my eye now, I only hear with my ear what I hear now, I feel only what I feel at this moment now. So I become much more present. Yeah? Otherwise I'm kind of, it could be anything, anywhere, So bringing my mind into my body, I just feel my body. I just feel means like what I see is only what I see now, and hear what I hear now, and sense what not that I am I'm looking to yesterday, I'm thinking about the future, I'm, seeing it. I think this is, once you do that, we feel much more present. And being present is, I think, a very important thing in meditation. And this is, I think this is very important because usually when people try to meditate, they make lots of efforts trying to calm down, trying to concentrate, trying, kind of like trying too much, like I must concentrate, I must calm down, I must have no smell. I think that doesn't work. That should not be. Sometimes you can see, when somebody is meditating, you can see whether your mind is okay or not. Looking at the face, how relaxed that person is, you can see on the face. So meditation is not about creating more tension, it's about letting go of the tension. So if we try too much, it doesn't work, because then it brings tension. So you have to be really just being, just being. So when you bring your mind into the body, when you are present at this very moment, just you don't stop your senses. You see what you see, you hear what you hear, you feel what you feel. You don't stop your senses. But your senses are only now. What I see now, I see now. What I hear now, I don't hear past, future. If a car goes by, usually if a car goes by, I'm meditating, the car is going, another car is going. Why is it going? I'm meditating. I'm always being disturbed by these cars. I should stop this road that's going by my house. Kind of. And then somebody opens the door. Again, this is my neighbor is opening the door. He's walking up now, walking down. Why he has to walk all the time when I'm meditating? It's not like that. It's just whatever happening is happening, no problem. So therefore, just being, just being present. And then bringing ease into your mind, that's the important one. So I'm here, I relax. I don't go inside, I don't go outside, I don't totally concentrate. It's too much doing, not necessarily too much. Just relax now. And let my awareness or consciousness or mind just at ease, not too much, concentrating, but at ease, just aware, at ease, relaxed, in peace, not struggling, not trying to chase something, not trying to get something, not trying to get rid of something, not trying to, analyze something, not trying to find out something, just relax, at ease, just being. Yeah? Now this is meditation. This is the first step of meditation, which is learning to be. Actually, learning to be. Learning to be natural. That's what we usually are. Just learning to be natural. That makes relaxation. Now the only problem is we are so used to, we are so habituated to, running our mind, running after things. In one moment you find that you are not relaxed and you are not in your body, but you are in New York. Next moment you see you are in, London, Ibiza, Bahama, anywhere, everywhere, and then you say, why I'm not able to stay in this one moment? Why? No necessary. That's where this is the second kind of a stage, you can call it if you like. That time you just don't bother too much. It's usual that my mind is moving. If my mind is not moving, maybe I'm dead. Or even after death they say, you move a lot. It's okay, it's the usual, it's natural. But now I want to relax and not run so much. So I just remember now. Feel my mind inside my body, just remember now. That's only necessary, And who does that? That's what we call mindfulness. The mindfulness is what knows that my mind is somewhere else, running, doing things, everywhere, and then, kind of remembers to bring it back. That's the mindfulness. So mindfulness is the only tool we have. We don't have any other. We don't need any other. Just that little bit awareness, a little bit, remembering that my mind is all over the place, so I just bring back. No judgment, no, why I'm like this. No, just. And this is, now this, if we can do a little bit like this, and sometimes it's also useful. There are many different ways, and you can do anything, any different methods. But one method which is very popular is like breathing. Kind of breathe. Because breathing is something that we do all the time anyway. We cannot live without breathing. So, just remember breathing. Just feel, not think. Again, this is very important. Not think about breathing. Feel the breathing. If I find myself, doing lots of things everywhere, mind, and just feel the breathing in, breathing out, and I'm there. So, this is one important step of meditation. And you find that when you can do a little bit, even if you do a little bit, you find that you become much more relaxed. You become much more, peaceful. And when your mind is a little bit peaceful, the more peaceful your mind is, more joyful your mind becomes. Because the more peaceful, more joyful, more kind, more creative. That's natural. So therefore, and this is the important to know is that, the happiness we are looking for, the joy we are looking for sometimes, the satisfaction we are looking for, sometimes it's just there in us at this very moment. We don't need to get something, very difficult to get. We don't need to, do something that's very difficult to do. We don't need to, make something very big. It's just, if we can just allow our mind to be in the natural state, relax, we can find our own peace and joy and happiness now. So in one way, our happiness, our peace of mind, our joy, our satisfaction, we can find just here, now, not doing anything, not going anywhere, just here and now and this moment. So this is actually, sometimes this is the most important thing that, if I can really understand this, that, the happiness, the joy, the contentment, the peace, if I can find just now without doing anything, without needing to have anything accomplished now. If we can see this, if we can understand this, if we can have not even completely accomplished, but have some deep understanding that this is possible, I think it gives us a very strong confidence. Very strong confidence that, I don't have to get something big, do something special, find something unusual, I can find happiness, joy, everything within myself now, in this very moment. Actually, that understanding, that realization is one of the most important, thing in life. Because if you can find your, true happiness within yourself at this very moment, then what else you need? If I can find that, then I think naturally what I would like to do is wanting and wishing to bring that to everybody else. So therefore, compassion arises by itself. Now, for that understanding, I think we have to look in our mind and see that, when we settle down, we look at our mind. So if we not try but do meditate, as we said, in these 3 ways, and then look at that mind. Am I settled? My mind is settled. Sometimes my mind is settled, very relaxed, calm, peaceful. Now, who is knowing? Who is knowing? Who is feeling that my mind is settled and relaxed? There is an awareness. Yeah? There is an awareness in our consciousness. There is an awareness which knows, feels that our mind is settled. Is it different from our mind? No, that's our own mind, our own consciousness, our own, awareness. It knows that I am settled, my mind is settled, my mind is in peace. Now, after some time we look and my mind is racing. It's thinking of all different kind of things, lots of different, here, there, very busy, thinking about that, different emotions, things like that. And look at that mind. Now, when my mind is working, I have to do this, I have to do that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Now also look at our mind and we find that there is the same awareness which knows and feels that my mind is settled. Also same awareness knows and feels that my mind is moving, is tumultuous, is busy, is lots of things happening. Now this is important. My mind is either settled or moving. Yeah? Or sleeping. Then we are kind of unconscious. That's one very major part of my life. I go to sleep anytime. Actually, especially during teachings. During Dalai Lama's teachings, during Karmapa's teachings, during every teaching. And then it's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. And sometimes, I'm kind of being a little bit like a lama, they put me on the dais, Thousands of people, and I'm putting on the dais. And then 2 big, screens. And then, the camera is zooming. I've seen these videos myself. And I'm there. It's really embarrassing, but there's nothing I can do. I drank coffee. It doesn't work. Anyway, that's not the point here. So, when my mind is, working or there are things happening in my mind, that's also there is this awareness, yeah? Awareness, there is a consciousness, this awareness which knows, which sees, which is aware that there are things happening in mind. Usually what we do, when things are happening in mind, like thoughts are happening, emotions are happening, I don't look at that. I just follow those thoughts and emotions and react outside. I hardly kind of recognize that this is happening in my mind. I just, follow those thoughts. Thoughts and emotions kind of make me do and make me react, like that. That's how we usually do. But here, if we are a little bit more aware, a little bit more, looking in, we understand that, these thoughts and emotions are just happening, and they are like, also not separate from our mind, from our awareness, from our consciousness. It's just that, that our awareness, our consciousness, within that, these thoughts are arising. One thought comes, two thoughts comes, one emotion comes, one reaction comes. It's like arising from within my mind. And they are also, if I don't react with outside, or, they just dissolve within that. They are not, they're just like kind of bubbles, kind of waves, When you look at a sea or a river or something like that, the waves arise and then waves arise and then go back. Another wave comes and go back. Another wave comes and go back. Same way, all these thoughts, emotions, thinking of the past, future, whatever, all this happiness, unhappiness, anger, sorrow, fear, whatever, it's all like that. It arises and then arises, dissolves, arises and dissolves within my own mind. They're not coming from anywhere else, they're not going anywhere else, they're all waves within myself. So what we need to realize is, yes, not kind of following them as if they are kind of our, taking us from our nose. Just look at them, watch them, as if we are looking at the seaside with the waves. It's our own thing, it's not outside, of course, it's inside. And if we allow that, those thoughts and emotions just come and go and come and go, we don't need to make them, we don't have to try to get rid of all those thoughts. This is very important. Yeah? We don't have to try to get, like when we meditate, then the thought comes, this thought comes, another thought comes. I can't meditate. Not like that. Thought comes, no problem. Emotion comes, no problem. All kind of things come, no problem. They just come and go within our mind. If we can do that, if we can understand that whether our mind is settled or our mind is not settled, but having lots of thoughts and, different thoughts and emotions and things like that. It's same. Both is our state of mind. We're just aware of. We look at the settled awareness, or we look at the unsettled awareness. We look at our awareness, consciousness, and relax in that. When we can do that, when we little bit understand how to do that, then there's nothing we have to do. Our mind is under our control. Our mind is not something that we have to try to, kind of imprison and, make them sit down and, no. If we only try to, if we try to bring settled mind all the time, then it's impossible. Because every thought that happens, every emotion that happens, it becomes a disturbance. It's a disturbance to our meditation. But if we know how to just let our thoughts and emotions come and go, and just make that awareness a settled awareness, a kind of, doesn't matter. Then we know the nature of our mind. We know the nature of our mind. That's the nature of our mind, that awareness. There's nothing other than that in our mind, that knowingness, that clarity, that consciousness, that whether it's settled, it's awareness, it's unsettled, that's also awareness. There's nothing else. And both way, we don't need to be disturbed. Why should I be disturbed? Because this is coming, that thoughts and emotions and whatever is coming is within my own consciousness. It's arising and dissolving within our own consciousness. I just have to experience that, understand that, Now this, if we know, if we can really deeply understand this, then what we realize is that, that the how I am, how I feel, how I experience depends on what kind of thoughts and emotions I choose to react. I choose to follow. I choose to, So therefore, I can decide what to react and what not to react. I can decide what to do and what not to do. And everything that arises, I don't need to react to. I can let them be. Because they naturally come up and naturally go down. Now this, if I understand this a little bit, I don't know whether I've been clear enough. Because this is something very important. If we can do a little bit this, if we can understand a little bit this, of course we need to practice. Then, in a way, we don't need to kind of we can meditate any time, in any situation. Because in any situation, we just look at our mind and it's either settled or it's not settled. If not settled, okay. If settled, okay. We can relax in that anytime. Yeah. And like we are in the middle of something. We are in the middle of an argument, for instance. If I'm in the middle of an argument, then I look back into my mind and see what's happening. Maybe lots of anger, maybe lots of, I don't know what, hurt feeling, maybe lots of these things. Then I say, okay, this is how it's happening. I don't need to react too much to these things. I can relax. The moment I know how to relax, I don't need to follow that. I can do whatever. We can find peace at that very moment. And then if I feel that I should continue that argument, I can continue. If my wisdom mind says it's good to continue, I can continue. If my wisdom mind says it's not good to continue, I don't need to continue. Yeah? Sometimes I can continue without getting angry, we can turn it into a more pleasant argument. We can say, okay, it's not necessary to argue like that. Sometimes you don't have to be right all the time. Yeah. Sometimes it's wise and it's nicer, it's winning if you lose. Yeah? If I decide to lose the argument, actually I have won. No? Many times. So, because I'm not carried away by my emotion, so therefore you can allow that happen. Because you are more aware, you are more clear. And sometimes, we have a kind of something happens and somebody says something and does something, and then you feel uncomfortable, you feel hurt, you feel upset, and then you look at your mind and you feel those things. So those emotions are arising. And you just, you allow those emotions to come up and dissolve within yourself. And see that, is it necessary to follow these emotions or not? There's no use me getting upset. If somebody has said something and does something, is it necessary that I have to be unhappy all the time because somebody did something or said something? If somebody did something and said something and I have to be unhappy, then I have to be unhappy all the time. Yeah? Not necessary. When I decide that, I can allow these emotions to dissolve within itself. And then we can think how best to, to react to that person. Maybe a kind word, maybe a smile can change this. Sometimes, many times, people are, when people are not so nice to us, many times they're just wanting something nice for themselves, something kind. Everybody is, wanting to, to feel somebody a little bit nice and kind and things like that. Maybe you have not been able to, kind of express that. And sometimes if you are just a little bit more kind and more nice to that person, sometimes that changes completely, So therefore, when our mind becomes less disturbed, we can react with more wisdom, with more understanding. And that brings much more joy and comfort and, meaning and happiness to ourselves. And then that can bring much more, harmony and much more benefit and much more goodwill and help, benefit to people and everybody around us, Because most of the time we kind of we react with our emotions, and mostly negative emotions. And then we are full of hurt, and we create full of lots of hurt and negative feeling towards everybody. So this is, in everyday life, what we need is a little bit awareness, a little bit more awareness. And if we can bring a little bit awareness, that can, sometimes I think that is much more stronger meditation than doing meditation many hours. Of course, if you do meditate in a good way, the right way, for a long time, every day, I don't say it's bad, it's very good. It's very good if you know how to do it properly with certain relaxation. But sometimes, we do lots of meditation. Then I know people who do like 1 hour every day, or 2 hours every day, even 3 or 4 hours every day. I know people who are doing those kind of things. I know people who have made commitments to do 2 hours or 3 hours. But then sometimes, it so happens that becomes a work. I have to do this meditation from. It's finished now. That kind of, sometimes I feel, you have meditation, and then your life. Yeah? So you kind of little bit separate the meditation and the life. 2 different things, You do meditation as a kind of a job or a work or something, like, I have to do meditation. And then that's finished, now no need meditation. Now I'm doing the usual thing, everything as usual, with all the emotions, with all the problems, with all the, reactions, exactly as our usual habitual tendency. then that meditation did not change our life too much. What we need is that whether you do meditation for 2 hours or 3 hours or 5 minutes or nothing, 1 minute, it has to have some effect on our life, no? So therefore, if we can bring that understanding, that even if we are not doing too many hours in a long-term meditation separately from our life, which is quite difficult these days, because everybody is working. Everybody needs work. Everybody needs to work for many hours, it seems. Yeah? And then to find some time to do meditation is quite difficult, because you are tired, you don't want to get up too early, and in the evening you are again too tired after doing the whole day's work and all the commuting and all these kind of things. It's very difficult sometimes. Of course, to have some time, to create some time is very good, I think very useful. But this, whatever, little time you put aside to do meditation, this, I think it's very important to try to bring into our life. Into our life. Life means like any time, in our work, in our usual kind of reactions, in our emotions, in our, reactions, just life. If we can bring even little bit of that into our life, I think that's a big progress. Big progress. Even like nothing else, but deeply realize what emotions going on in me. What's happening in me, how I am feeling, how I am reacting. Just recognizing that is sometimes, I think, very important. So, of course, it's not like, all the time like watching what's going on in my mind. That's too much, you can't do that, that's like too much, too much aware, too much. They call it like a new bride. New bride, somebody is just married, then they have to be really like, how I look. I don't know about them, but they think it's very self-conscious, very self-conscious. And too self-conscious, then you cannot relax. Not like that, but relaxedly, completely relaxedly, naturally, normally, but little bit aware, what's going on, how you are reacting, and then little bit, reacting and learning to, that's what I think important. So I think I should not just talk myself alone. So if there's any, I like more discussion, because otherwise, I don't know what I'm saying, and I don't know what you are hearing, and I don't know whether, there's any understanding or not, or any useful or not. So, any questions? Any questions? Whether on the topics that I've been talking or something totally different, you can ask questions, except about my nail. Many times, they all ask, why you have long nails, on your little finger? It's not necessary, it's just my, what you call it? Huh? Affectation. Just whim, Some people just want to do something a little bit crazy.
When we talk about my mind,
when we talk about my mind, our consciousness, who is the owner of the mind? Who is the owner of the consciousness? Is the consciousness that you're talking about universal? Is it Buddha nature, or it's because often when we say I, we're talking about the ego, false construct. When we say it's raining, what is raining?
Now you're going into philosophy. when somebody, when I experience, I have to say no? It's not that there needs to be an I which is separate from all my consciousness and somewhere else, but that's what we call I. Yeah. And this is something, this is some kind of the way we do. When we look at when we look at ourselves, we always say that, this is my body. Yeah? This is my body. This is my thought. This is my emotion. This is my mind. This is my brain. This is my heart. Yeah? As if there's an I who is the owner of all those things, My body is not me, it's my body. Yeah? My thoughts are not me, it's my thoughts. My emotion is not me, it's my emotion. But where is that me? Yeah? Where is that me? That's the problem. Neither scientists have found that me somewhere inside our body or outside our body, nor Buddha have found inside our body or outside our body. Yeah? But we have kind of assumed a me. Yeah? And that's, from Buddhist point of view, Buddhist philosophical point of view, that's the ego. Yeah? That's the kind of a dualistic way of saying that I and everything. My consciousness, or I have the consciousness. We all have the awareness. We all have the consciousness. We have a kind of knowing thing. But that's kind of, what can you say? Then we have the experience. We all have the experience. We have the seeing experience, hearing experience, feeling experience, thinking experience, all this experience. But we kind of assume an I who is the kind of doer or owner of all these things. That's how we separate. Yeah? And from Buddhist point of view, we think that that is a kind of assumption. That's an assumption. There is nothing called I or me apart from the awareness. The awareness of thinking, awareness of feeling, awareness of the experience is there. And the experience is changing all the time. And the experience is a momentary thing, interrelated thing, interdependent thing. Yeah? But I make an I which is supposed to be there. And then I have lots of things like, I like this, I don't like this, I want this, I don't want this, I'm afraid, so all kind of problems of our emotion, of our, is coming from this dualistic understanding or assumption. That's the idea. But at the moment, I think we don't have to talk about these things. We can just, There? Yeah, next. No, she can do. It's okay.
Can you please talk a little about how your meditating practices help you to cope with all the horrible things that have been happening in the world lately?
My experience, the horrible things were not only lately, like I was born in Tibet in 1952. I should not have told the date. I'm so careless. I've given away my secret of age. I sometimes even ask age from the ladies, I'm very undiplomatic. I'm joking. And in 57, my parents revolted against Chinese, armed revolt. And since then, we were chased by the army. And for 2 years, we were running away from the Chinese army. Sometimes fighting, sometimes running, and sometimes hiding in the daytime and running in the night. And I've seen, people killed, people, dying in many different ways, people being caught, people, robbed of all the things we had, and, all kind of sufferings, problems, all human difficulties. So it's not something new, it's not something new, the horrible things that we, and in my family, in my mother's family, she had a big family. She had like nine brothers, all of them killed by the Chinese, many of them in prisons, things like that. And in Tibet, we had like, all the monasteries were destroyed, the whole culture was destroyed, the whole country was destroyed. 1 million people died, mostly of torture and starvation. So these things, and then we were in refugee and we didn't know anything, didn't have any knowledge of the country, language, people, climate, we didn't even know how to cook the food there, So I was like at the age of 7, kind of looking after my family because I was the only one who a little bit learned the language. I sometimes say I taught my mother how to cook. Partly true, because I was the only one who was a little bit going out, and because I learned the language first. So if I find somewhere, something that's nicely cooked, so I ask them, how do you cook it, and things like that. And then I go and tell my mother, and then sometimes she tries and it works. Sometimes she doesn't try. Sometimes she tries and doesn't work. so like that, So I know that the world is not, not a bed of roses, And also, if you look into the history of the world, I see that the history of the world is history of wars. It's not nice, it's sad, but the history of human beings I really see as a history of wars, nothing else. And each war was a tragedy. There was not a nice war. Every war, lots of suffering on both sides, lots of destruction on every side, and the miseries everywhere, throughout the world. So this is, I feel, it's not new. It's nothing new. It's been there like all the time. And people, as long as we have this kind of negative things, negative emotions and negative habitual tendencies, as long as we have anger and hatred in ourselves, as long as we have greed, as long as we have, confusion and misunderstanding and ignorance, I think we will continue to do these things. So samsara, we call it samsara, is lots of problems, lots of pain, lots of... But when I see this, when I understand this, that's how, human beings are. We have lots of good things also. We have lots of love, we have kindness. We human beings live by the love of others. We all live by somebody's love. There's lots of love, lots of kindness, lots of generosity, lots of good things. But we have lots of faults also. So therefore, this is how it has been, and this is probably how we will go on. Of course we can change if we want. If we want, we can change. I think it's not impossible to change. I sometimes feel that if we, all the human beings, decided to be kind to each other from today, from tomorrow, we have heaven on earth. It's that easy, in a way. but we are not going to do it. Yeah? Most probably not. For a long time, till we really, have some kind of deep inner change. So therefore, we need to find our own peace from within ourselves. And I can't be totally devastated and unhappy because there is negative things going on around. Yeah. If some negative things going on, of course, that's not good, that's bad. If there is anything I can do to help, I should do, everybody should do. But if I'm totally upset and I'm totally angry and I'm totally, unhappy because of that, that doesn't help. So therefore, I think I need to bring peace within myself. I need to bring, as much as possible, kindness within myself, joy within myself. And if I can a little bit myself be okay, that will not only be good for me, but that will be good for some people around me. Sometimes, one nice person can also make a lot of difference to other people. I was telling this story yesterday. Last year I went to America after fall, around fall. And in America they have this very special kind of a festival called Thanksgiving, yeah, and very important. And I was there just around that time, actually on that time. I had even some turkey. And one young lady came to a kind of dinner, and then she was telling a story. I thought it was very interesting. I was very interested with that. She said that she was, just before that, she was in a very bad situation. She had lost her boyfriend, she had lost her job, she had no money, she was kind of depressed quite a lot, and she was just driving a kind of a pickup truck for somebody to bring wood. There in that area, I was in Maine. They need lots of wood for the winter, long winter. And then she was in a kind of gas station, and she was not in very good kind of clear mind, so she was backing up. And when she backed up, she ran into another car. She made an accident, and when she came out, she found that it's one of the most expensive cars. And she has damaged it quite a lot. So she was totally, shocked and devastated because she has no money, she has no insurance, no nothing. Then she came out of the car and she said, what to do now, what to do now? And then one lady came out of the car. And she said, shall we go to the police, shall we call the police? That lady said, no, we don't need to call the police. We will just settle it among ourselves. You don't need to worry. You don't need to worry so much. You just go. You give me your telephone number and go. We will settle it. So she allowed her to go with this telephone number. And then after 1 or 2 days she called and she said, okay, I have to try to find a kind of a garage to repair this car, and they are charging $2,000. But I think it's too much. I think it will not cost that much. I'll keep on looking. Don't worry, we will settle somehow. And then after a few days, she called again, and she said, "Oh, now I found a better one. I found a garage which, kind of repaired this thing for $500, and it's all done. Don't worry. Whenever you have money and whenever you can pay, you pay me in installment or whenever. If you don't have any money, don't bother. It's okay." So she made such a wonderful person that she said that incident actually cured her. She found that such, it was so nice, it was so kind of a kind, that person. Although it was a kind of a negative circumstances, but she said that she kind of felt as if, the world is not a bad place after all, There is some really good people, and her whole way of looking at the world changed, and she kind of, felt that her depression was gone, and she was much more positive, and it was kind of a complete healing process for her. So sometimes it's like that, if there is even one person who is really nice and kind, and it kind of can make an effect on people, And actually sometimes I feel that there's lots of good thing in the world, even now. There's lots of good things. There's a new movie by this Michael Moore. Michael Moore? He wrote books about, and he made a film also, on this Bush time and things like that. His next movie is called What to Attack Next. You have seen? It's really, you have to see it. It's very nice. Because, I also thought that first it will be something to do with this kind of, like he usually writes about, that it's the American, trying to make things. But it's not like that. His thing is that he said he wants to attack in a different way. He wants to, because he says that he thinks that all the attacks that America made were to get something good for America. So now he was going to do it himself. So he traveled with the American flag everywhere in Europe and tried to find something that's really good that we can bring it to America. So he travels all over Europe and find very, very important, nice things, And he finds so many nice things, so many good things that in Europe. He goes everywhere, England, Denmark, Sweden, many, many places. And he finds really, really nice things, which is very special. And then he wants to bring it to America, but actually they all came from America. He came to know that it actually came from. So anyway, so there are lots of good things, There are so many good things. But sometimes we don't think about that, This is one problem with most of us. We have this habit of, kind of zooming on problems. on bad things, on negative things, even our life, If I have one problem, one little problem, my mind, and I think about that day and night, until that problem is solved. And I almost think about nothing but that problem. And then how this is solved, And then once that problem is solved, I feel as if, unless that problem is solved, I cannot be happy at all, I cannot rest at all, I cannot feel good at all. And then sometimes my things sometimes, some problems cannot be solved, But once I get this problem solved, then, now it's solved, now I can relax. But another comes. Sometimes two. Yeah? So if I make that as my way of life, how can I be happy? I can never be relaxed, I can never be happy, I can always be like this. We have that habit. So we don't appreciate good things, We appreciate our good health only when we get sick, When I have headache, then I think, it is so good when I have not headache, When I have no headache, no problem, it's nothing. I don't say that, I'm so happy because I don't have headache. Do you say? So like that, we kind of, I think we need to look for good things and appreciate that and, remind ourselves of these positive things, good things, like wonderful things that we have, and really appreciate that. I think that's important. I think that's very important way. And also we need to look at, others' qualities, and appreciate that. Because if you don't look, we don't see. When we don't see, it's as if it's not there.
Just a question about meditation, if that's okay. How essential do you think that states of jhana are important in terms of liberation from your perspective? Jhana in a sort of classical sense, the four jhanas and the 5 formless attainments. Thank you.
Jhana is you call it jhana in Pali, you call it dhyana in Sanskrit, you call it, it's like this kind of standard of your settled mind, how settled your mind is. That's important, but that's important in one way, because if you can do that, then your mind becomes very calm, very clear, and your mind becomes very flexible. The more flexible your mind becomes, then it's under your control. And also, if you want to concentrate, you can concentrate. If you want to relax, you can relax. If you want to think, you can think. If you want to, see things more clearly, you can see more clearly. And if you want to be in peace, you can be in peace, things like that. But it is not that easy to It depends on person to person and situation to situation, but it needs quite strong practice, you know. So it's like that. It's good. It's important. But even if you cannot get that kind of a situation, I think it's not that your meditation can be useless, you know. You can use it in different ways, and even without this kind of very clear, strong, deep dhyanas, you can use it in a very effective way to make your life much better. Okay, thank you very, very much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Rinpoche, for those very simple, clear and profound teachings on meditation. And for those who don't know, very good talk teaching tomorrow as well on how transforming your world through compassion. That's the title of tomorrow's talk. So there's still tickets available if you want to come. You can purchase them from the lovely mat at the back there, or you can turn up on the door tomorrow. Doors open at 7 and the teachings again start at 7:30. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you again, Rinpoche.